Well, we have 3 more months left in the Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League regular season, but this time around, we're going to be talking all about November. It's the Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League monthly digest for November right here on Black Dog Enterprises. Hello everybody, I'm Erik Pessolano with Chuck Lejsek as always. And Chuck, we are going to run down everything that happened in the Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League in November. There was a lot going on.
A lot of action going on. We saw a lot of close games and just a lot of great skating, good hitting, and once again, great goaltending. What else could you expect? Just a typical month in the ADHSHL.
Absolutely, and we're going to do things a little bit different this time. Last month we started in Division 1. We're going to give Division 3 the lead on this show here for this month. So we're going to start in the Crescent Conference. We'll take you team by team, let you know what's going on. We'll start at the top. Bishop Amat, 2-0 in November. They outscored their opponents in their 2 games by a grand total of 18-2.
Yeah.
All about offense with the Lancers. That's always seems to be their best defense.
No, exactly. Especially you have Wyatt Hager, who had 6 points against Palm Springs in his own right. And he also had 2 assists against Long Beach Prep. I mean, he's a starter. He's been a starter for a while on the squad. Of course, it doesn't hurt that he also works for us as well. But on top of that, I mean, Wyatt Hager, I mean, he's just had an absolutely outstanding month of defender of November. And don't forget also, Kaz Kwan did pretty well himself.
Yeah, 4 goals in that game against Palm Springs as well. It's the Lancers right now atop the Crescent Conference, but don't look too far. It's Pacific Ridge right behind them.
Yeah, Pacific Ridge, they went 1-1. They defeated was it Palm Springs by a score of 8-1, but they had a little tough time at Corona Valley losing 3-1. Yet they still seem to almost keep pace right behind Bishop Vermont right now.
Yeah, Alec Kaju had a hat trick in that win against Palm Springs. So 500 month for the Firebirds, but they are right in the thick of things. Moving on now, we have Chino Valley. They were 2-0. We just talked about their win they had over Pacific Ridge. They also beat Las Vegas as well.
Yeah, and you know, again, you had Xander Mukonos. He had 3 goals in 2 games. Absolutely outstanding job. You know, he basically centers that top line right there for that squad. Does an outstanding job for Chino Valley. But then also you had Nathan Hill who had a goal in each game as well. And don't forget Brendan Scott, the goaltending. You know, we don't have to give the goaltenders enough credit right here. He stopped 36 shots, 36 of 38 shots in those 2 games.
Yeah, he was outstanding. He only gave up a goal in each of those 2 games. So Chino Valley right in the thick of things as well. The top of that Crescent Conference is going to be interesting coming down to 1.
No, exactly. You got 3 teams especially, and you know, it's one of those 3 teams. Actually, anybody could actually win that conference. You know, don't forget these teams sit there and start building momentum towards the playoffs right there, and you know, it's going to be a tough conference. It looks like a free-for-all conference right here.
Yeah, another team has split their 2 November games. Upland Christian Academy, who went 1-1 in the month of November. Their lone win came in a tight one against Las Vegas. It was 6-5, and Caleb Day had the game winner early in the 3rd period for the Eagles.
Yeah, they basically don't forget Upland Christian. Now we try not to forget any school, but Upland Christian is also a team that could also just kind of, you know, right around the end, right in the middle of the pack. But you know, as you see, as these schools, you know, skate towards the end of, you know, towards playoff time, anything could happen.
Absolutely, and then down near the bottom of the conference, you have Long Beach, Las Vegas, and Palm Springs. Long Beach Prep, though, they were 2-1 in November. They kind of turned things around as they beat Las Vegas and UCA, both by 5-2 scores.
Yeah, that was good. But the problem is you sandwich those victories between that loss to Bishop Amat, but still yet the 2-1 season helped propel Long Beach Prep into some prominence, at least in this Crescent Conference.
Las Vegas and Palm Springs combined for 0-5 records during the month, but there were close games for Las Vegas in all 3 of their matchups, losing by 1, 2, and 3 goals, so they're right in the thick of things. And again, first-year team, they had a great October, turned around, not such a great November, but still 3 months more to get some.
But yeah, don't count these guys out. I mean, they have the travel and stuff like that, so they're still getting accustomed to that. And you know, I think as the months wane on and stuff, we're going to see this team become more and more of a factor.
Absolutely, and of course, we mentioned Palm Springs, who was 0-2 in November as well. They round out the Crescent Conference. So now let's throw that graphic up. Take a look at the standings after November.
Long Beach Prep carrying up the bottom with 9 points, and then you have Las Vegas and Palm Springs both carrying up the bottom with 3 points. But like we said, we've seen teams come here. A couple years ago, we saw a last place team make it to the finals. I believe it was Danny a couple years ago, was it not? Basically, it's all depends when these teams catch fire, and the playoffs are the perfect time to do so.
So that's a wrap up with the Crescent Conference. In Varsity Division 3, we're going to move now over to the Coast View Conference. We're going to do something a little different here. We're going to start from the bottom, work our way up. And there's a reason for that. We'll get to it in just a minute. But we'll start at the bottom of the division in Woodbridge. They lost both their games in the month of November, but to Santa Margarita and a Huntington Beach team who is now on a little bit of a roll, picking up their 2nd win of the season.
Yeah, Huntington Beach is actually right ahead of Woodbridge right now. I mean, they've got 5 points total so far in this standings. I mean, they defeated Woodbridge on November 19th, and for their second win of the season. But as we mentioned, things always change, and Huntington Beach is they have some experience, so wait and see what happens as the months went on.
Oilers were 1-1 in November, of course, getting that win over Woodbridge. That was back on November the 19th. So we move up. The Los Alamitos Griffins, they lost both their matchups in November, but against Edison and Santa Margarita, so two good teams there giving fits for the Griffins. Moving up to the team who right now is in 4th place in Varsity Division 3. That's the Beckman Patriots, who only had one game in the entire month of November, but it was a victory.
Yeah, and especially when you beat a team like Edison, who's near the top right there. I mean, that has to give your team some confidence. They beat them 7-6 in a thrilling overtime game. You and I actually saw that game. It was an absolutely outstanding game. And congratulations to Beckman. And I'll tell you what, that's one of my sleeper team, at least for this conference right here. They could end up being in the finals.
Alex Allman had the game winner in that one against the Edison Chargers as well. Moving on up, we go to Santa Margarita. They had 3 games in November. They won them all, beat Woodbridge, Los Alamitos, and the first place team in Serra.
No, exactly. I mean, what else can you say about this team? I mean, this is the feeder team for D1. So when you're a team in this conference, you're playing D1 talent right there. So it's a good thing for this squad. And this is a team you also have to watch out for as well, because as I mentioned before, you got the D1 talent. I mean, you not only have goaltending, but you have skaters that will be skating on the second line, this third line up there with the big club as well. So Santa Margarita, no matter what division, always a tough team to play.
Second place team right now is Edison. They were 1-1 in the month. Mentioned the loss to Beckman. They did beat Los Alamitos, but Trevor Arsenault had himself quite a game against the Griffins. 2
goals and 3 assists. What else can you say about Trevor Arsenault? I mean, we've seen him now. I believe this is his 3rd season, I believe, in the league, and he's actually been picking up his play each consecutive season right here. And that game that he had, 2 goals, 5-point game. Can't beat that. I don't care what division you're in.
We move to the top of the Coast View Conference. It's no surprise here. It's the Servite Friars. They're human, Chuck.
They
finally lost the game.
It took a while, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. But they're still 10-1. They're very clear of Edison. They're 9 points ahead. They've been getting the job done. 1-1 in the month. And they also had our Player of the Month.
Your Player of the Month for November is Bowen Verbata. And what else can you say about Verbata? He had 6 points overall, 5 goals and an assist in the 2 games they played, including 4 goals against, was that Huntington Beach? Yes, 4 goals against Huntington Beach. Absolutely outstanding, not only game, but just an outstanding month for Bowen Verbata. We've seen him several times throughout the years, and I'll tell you what, I love watching these players grow and grow and grow, and Bowen Verbata is just atypical of what we see, how these players get more experience as the year goes on.
So big congratulations to Bowen Verbata for winning our Division III Player of the Month in the Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League. That's it for the Coast View Conference. Let's take a look at the standings real quick before we get out of here for D3. Friars on top, as mentioned, they are clear of Edison by 9. The Chargers and Eagles of Santa Margarita tied with 19 points apiece. Beckman hanging around there.
Be interesting to see. You don't ever count the teams at the bottom. As I mentioned before, experience will take over as these teams, as the year goes on and on and on. And one of these teams could come up surprisingly, and it could be relevant come playoff time.
So that's it for Division 3 for the month of November. Just a reminder, coming up January 26th, right here on Black Dog Enterprises, we'll have the Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League All-Star Games. We will be live from Honda Center. Games are at 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 8 o'clock. We'll start with the JV, then we'll do the varsity. We'll have the senior game at 8 o'clock. And those teams have already been selected.
Wow.
So we'll talk about that a little bit later on as our broadcasts go on throughout the month of December, which should be an interesting one.
Hey, we're now back with Division 2 right now, and I tell you what, Eric, a lot of movement in at least the beginning, or in the middle of the D2, towards the top of the standings. But I'll tell you one thing, at the top of the standings, nothing has changed right now with St. John Bosco.
They have the full complement of 30 points. They've got a 3 in every game. They don't know what overtime is. They haven't seen it. They haven't needed it. They've just gone out and blown everybody away. They were 4-0 in the month of November. They played the most games in November of any team. There were a few other teams that also played 4, but nobody played more than that. They had 4 players with at least 3 points against their game, in their game against Damien, and they scored 8 goals in each of their 4 games. 32 goals in the month of those 4 games.
And one other thing is, don't forget, they took Santa Margarita. They took them out behind the woodshed. At the end, that we were expecting a great D1 game or a great crossover game, or saying, yeah, this could be close. But I'll tell you one thing right there, Santa Margarita end up skating off their tails between their legs right there. Never seen that big of a disparity, especially in a crossover game, especially by the lower division team.
They beat the Eagles 8-1.
Yeah, unbelievable. Yeah, it was 4-0 before we could even blink our eyes. So yeah, I'll tell you what. Bring it up now. Here's another surprise, Eric. Coming up from at least October, making a big jump, we have Capital United. And actually, they're trying to take their spots, what they're pretty much accustomed to, near the top of the standings.
Yeah, they moved up into that second seed. They had a rough start of the season, but they've finally put some wins together. They were 2-0 in the month. They now have a 5-game winning streak as they head into the final month of 2016. So look out for the Coyotes. Pace Williams and Garrett Kennedy only allowed 1 goal each combined over the 2 games that they played. They scored 5 goals over those 2 games. So the offense still struggling a little bit for the Coyotes, but the defense has been fantastic, and that's why they're in second.
That's one thing that you're not interested, or you're not accustomed to, not interested, I should say, not accustomed to seeing in Capistrano team, but that exactly they're going back more to defense and goaltending, and it's really working right now as their developer adjusting to a new system. Let's move to the 3rd place team in Central Cathedral. Central Cathedral had a little tough time right there, 1-2 right there, but they started off by defeating Poway.
Yeah, they did. So another one of those San Diego rivalry games. They beat the Mustangs, or the Hawks now, I'm sorry, 5-1. But they did fall to La Jolla Country Day in St. John Bosco. But here's one of the interesting tidbits for the Jets as the season goes on. They're going to have 1 more game here in Anaheim. Everything else is going to be home. Travel is going to be cut down. It's going to be nice for them. A lot of the teams play their games here in Anaheim, but there's one San Diego team that doesn't have to come up here very much for the rest of the way.
Then we have, speaking of which, coming right behind them, actually 2 spots behind them, is La Jolla Country Day. They lost 8-0 to St. John Bosco. I mean, who else has lose?
I was going to say, who has
so, yeah, basically there was 8 goals against there, but then they defeated, just as we mentioned before, Central Cathedral by a score of 3-2 in a shootout.
Yeah, that one was a really tightly contested game, and again, you're looking at another San Diego-based rivalry. So we see down south, the San Diego teams are now starting to get into it a little bit, creating some rivalries with a lot of these first-year, second, third-year teams.
It's going to be interesting to see as we move on, but as we move on to that, we also have Villa Park, who's actually vaulted themselves back in with a strong November. They went 2-0, and they're trying to take that spot where they actually won the championship a couple of years ago.
Yeah, they're trying to find their way back up the standings, right in the middle of the pack right now. They've got a nice complement of games left. They still have to play 7 more. So there's still points to be had. Don Johnson's going to have his boys ready to go. We know how that team will always come up from the latter part of the season, kind of like a Damien team, kind of like a JSerra team in Division 1. So keep an eye on the Spartans.
Exactly. And then we'll also coming up we have the Caymans of Classical Academy. They had a tough month of November. They lost 2 games. They lost both to Villa Park and Capital United. And the problem is, Eric, with this Classical squad, great defensively. Problem is a little bit on the forecheck.
Yeah, having some troubles on the offensive side of things. And it doesn't help when you run into 2 teams that are starting to find their stride at Capistrano United and Villa Park.
Exactly.
Caymans will figure it out. Remember, every team makes the playoffs, so it's just about getting some momentum as the season winds down.
After Classical, we have Poway, who also, another San Diego team, had a little tough time in the month of November. They went 0-2. They lost to Central Cathedral, and then they also lost to...
Yeah, JSerra, that was...
Oh, that's right. The crossover games. It's a tough month for Poway. They had 2 in a row to end October. However, the month of November was not too kind to them as they dropped to that, as they are stuck right now at about 7th place here in D2.
Yeah, they're going to be excited to see December. Yeah, they've had enough of November, so we'll get away from that. We'll move along.
And then I'm bringing up the bottom of it right there. You have Corona Norco. Tough time, and Christian Hilton picked them as his surprise team for D2, and I'll tell you the big surprise is right now, Eric, at least in the month of November, they're still winless. And you see this team, they have a bunch of veterans that especially from last year that we saw that came through, and they had a strong team the last couple of years. However, this season, things are just not clicking for them right now.
Yeah, and I'm not going to shy away from it either. I, along with Christian, had Corona Norco as my sleeper team, so, well, I don't know if that's the broadcaster's jinx or whatnot, but you're right, for Corona Norco, it's been tough. Defense has been there. They play a lot of defense in their own end. It's been tough to get the puck out of the zone, moving it ahead. But again, Stingrays have some more games here near the end of the season. They play a few more games against teams with winning records, not too many against teams with losing records. So they're going to run into some really good teams, which, if they do end up going winless, could help them on the way to the playoffs, seeing all those better teams.
Exactly.
Because then your competition
kind of
goes by the wayside a little bit as you're into these first, second rounds of playoffs. So we'll see what the Stingrays can do in December and into the playoffs when they come around in February.
One team that we did not talk about, Eric, has been the Spartans of Damien, and there's a special reason why. They feature our player of the month.
Yeah, and that's going to be Ian Acuna for the Spartans. It wasn't because of all the stats that he put him on the board. It was the fact that he sets his team up for success. They went up to San Jose. They played Bellarmine and Tahoe. They had 2 teams up there from Division 1 that they had to contest with, all while making the trip up into their neck of the woods for the most part. And they went 1-1 in those 2 games. During the entire month, they were 1-2. They ran into St. John Bosco during the month as well. But Ian Acuna certainly was a bright spot in Division 2 for this month, and that's why he got our honors.
Now, let's go to the graphic and take a look at the standings. If you look at the top right there, as we mentioned before, St. John Bosco going 10-0 right now. They're at the top of the heap right now with a full complement of 30 points. Coming up second and making a big jump, at least from the month of October, is Capital United. Then you got Central Cathedral. Damien, don't forget, they've already killed off 2 of their crossover games. And then you have Villa Park moving up the standings as well.
And then you take a look at the bottom part of the division. La Jolla Country Day and Poway sitting there. Classical and Corona Norco and Esteira still looking for that first win this season.
So that's going to do it for Division 2. Absolutely outstanding month for this division, and I guarantee you it's going to get a lot more tighter, at least maybe after St. John Bosco. But there's going to be a lot of shifting still yet to go on. So.
All right, we've come down to the final division all the way up at the top. It's Varsity Division 1, and of course, the competition in D1 is always top-notch. We saved it for last this time around for a few reasons. But we'll start at the top, talking about Orange Lutheran, who just played 1 game in November. It was that epic overtime win against Santa Maria.
What else can you say about that game? Basically, it was a Jacob Furry goal that decides that Furry, who has a knack for the net, especially in big games. We saw him score the game winner against the only goal in the final 2 years ago against Santa Margarita, and here he does it again, burns the Eagles in overtime with an outstanding goal on the breakaway, and Orange Lutheran survives by the skin of their teeth, defeating Santa Margarita by a 1-0 margin.
Santa Margarita Eagles coming in 3rd place. We skip our number 2 team for good reason. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But the Eagles were 1-2 in November. They lost by a goal, or they only scored a goal in their 2 losses combined. They had the shutout we just mentioned against Orange Lutheran. But they did have 7 goals in a win against JSerra. Jacob McElwick had a goal, 3 assists in that game, and Dylan School had a pair of goals as well.
But especially, they had a tough time as well, and they just got killed by St. John Bosco. But it's going to be interesting to see how this team picks up. I know Craig Johnson's not going to let that happen for very long, and I'll wait and see. I mean, especially after that loss to, and it was a close game against Orange Lutheran too. They were in it. I believe they actually outshot the Lancers at that time too. I mean, they have the strong goaltending. They have great defense, and their forecheck is really starting to pick it up. They'll still be relevant by the time that March comes along.
We're going to talk about Waking a Sleeping Dragon. Let's talk about Tahoe Hockey Academy right now. They were 1-1 in November, but they really look like they're getting acclimated to this league, and they are really starting to play at some high competition levels. They beat Damien. They lost to Bellarmine during the month in their 2 games. Jared Shooter had a couple of goals in the win against the Spartans.
Yeah, this Tahoe Hockey Academy, I think they're starting to adjust with the travel schedule as well. I mean, this team, always close. It doesn't make a difference. They're always in the games, and that's what I like about it. I mean, their forecheck is outstanding. They love to hit as well. Some great goaltending as well. This team's going to be relevant come playoff time.
And then down the bottom of Division 1, the Bellarmine Bells, they were 1-3 in the month. They only scored 2 goals in each of the games they played, so they're still trying to find their groove on offense.
Yeah, the one thing is that what we see from Bellarmine year after year is that they're a defensive-minded squad. Not too strong on the forecheck, but their defense keeps them in games, and they're very opportunistic. You turn the puck over, you just send them on an odd man breakaway. Generally, how they get a lot of their goals, at least in this league right there, they're still going to be relevant come time, and one team you probably don't want to play during the playoffs.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, well, we skipped over the 2nd place team. That's the JSerra Lions. We did it for good reason. The Lions, though, 3-1 in November. They beat Bellarmine twice, both of them up in San Jose. They also picked up a win against Poway in a crossover game. We did lose to Santa Margarita, their arch rivals, but they also did feature our ADHSHL Division 1 player of the month, Jake Hager.
What else can you say about Jake Hager, who had 8 points, 4 goals, and 4 assists in the month of November, and he had a goal in each of JSerra's 4 games. On top of that, he had the first 4 goals of the season during November. He has an 8-game point streak. The only game that he has not scored on was the inaugural game of the season, I believe, against Santa Margarita.
Yeah, and you know what? Chuck got a chance to sit down with Jake Hager and talk about him winning honors here for this month.
Thanks, Eric. We're here with November's Player of the Month in Jake Hager. And Jake, JSerra kind of turned around in November. That you guys went 3-1. What do you attribute to your success on the turnaround?
Yeah, I think it's really important, and I think with the new coach in OVL, I think he's done a great job with our team, and I think we're able to really move on with a lot of momentum for this month and the coming months.
You had 4 goals and 4 assists for an 8-point month. Basically, you've scored, I believe, in your last 8 games. The only game you've been scoreless in is the opening game, but ever since then, you're scoring. What do you attribute to that?
Yeah, I think because last year we had so many seniors, I was a little bit intimidated, but this year I'm a lot more comfortable with the players and the coaches around me, and I think that definitely attributes to my success.
You also have another sophomore sensation in Blake Reed. What do you think the chemistry is between you two?
Yeah, he's a great player to play with. I love playing with him. I think we have a lot of good chemistry. Playing with him is an honor, and I think we get a lot done together.
And I also mentioned before, you guys had a rough go at it at the beginning, and then all of a sudden kind of start to turn around. What are your prospects? It seems like JSerra each year, they start off slow and they build, and when it comes playoff time, you guys are a wrecking machine. You see that coming up in upcoming months?
Yeah, for some reason it's just like that every year. I mean, same with the first period to the second period. We always start off a little slow, but we always get into it later. I'm not sure why, but just how it rolls.
Once again, we'd like to thank Jake Hager. Jake, thank you so much. Good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you.
I want to thank Jake Hager from the JSerra Lions for sitting down with Chuck here as our Player of the Month in Division 1. And real quick, let's go over the standings, take a look at this here. After the month of November, Orange Lutheran just running away with it. They got all the points they can handle. JSerra has 14 points. The race for that second seed between the Lions and Eagles. What else is new?
Yeah, what else do you expect? I mean, they have the rivalry no matter any way you look at it. And basically, JSerra getting fed a little bit on those crossover games, but those games count as much as everything else right now, and that helps them propel them right behind Santa Margarita right now.
You have Tahoe and Bellarmine down at the bottom of the division. We talked about how Tahoe's getting better. We talked about how Bellarmine's an upset machine, so be careful when the playoffs come around. Hey, we're not done quite yet. We're going to take you now to our top plays of the month here in the Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League. Hope you enjoy them. There was a lot of big hits. There were a lot of great saves. I think the goalies are the ones we've been highlighting.
Exactly. Goalie outstanding this month. Excuse me, not this month, but the last month, November, featured a ton of saves.
Absolutely. So here they are, your Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League top 10 plays of November.
Lejsek is not that tough to spell.
2-on-1, Kim and Paget moving in, and
Ooh,
a
big
forehand
save.
shot kicked away.
Bucket line for the Lions. Now here come the Bells with 15 seconds left. Looking towards the net, firing a backhand. What a tricky shot. But for Lejsek, able to get the pad out and make the save. Otherwise, this could have been game over.
Brought back up now by Jake Brunell. Brunell will enter the zone. He has a man to his right. Fires the shot and scores again! 2:19 into this first period, and it's already JSerra 2 and Santa Margarita nothing. Uh-oh, watch out.
Gallegos
Watch out.
out of the box, but look out here, a breakaway. Slamming on the brakes is Jake Norris in front of the net. And there's the second Beckman goal.
With a give and go to Terramani. Dante now just using the clinic, walks in, backhand shot, and scored. Dante's Inferno strikes again.
Can do here. They break into the zone. Power move. Quick shot and a snipe. Drake Usher going coast to coast.
Let's do this again.
Well, we've been trying all day to get Chuck Lejsek
Oh!
headset to work.
Corey Mader.
Mader comes down, and in the meantime, fires one by Fox.
Taking it like they do with a 3-on-3 in the NHL.
Oh,
There's
he's wide
Labaya
open.
all by himself, walking in. Labaya, deep shot, score! 5-hole between Fred Taylor and Bosco now leads this game by a score of 6-0. Wow.
Biznieks with
Wow.
Makalecki. Oh, and a glove save! Oh, Radek Hunsinger with the new play of the game to keep it tied.
And
He's going to try it again. Deflected behind him.
what a
Oh,
save!
the glove save by Taharian on Bennett
wow.
with 9 seconds left in the period. A blind-sided reach from behind save.
Orange Lutheran. Johnson now moving in behind the net. Moves it back up. Here's a Johnson, or actually that's, oops. There's a turnover, a man on a break. It's Jacob Furry all by himself. Furry a one-on-one with the goaltender. Deep shot, score! Orange Lutheran wins it in overtime. Courtesy of Jacob Furry. Pandemonium on the Orange Lutheran side.
Just real quick, more special thanks to Andy Dickerson from Black Dog Enterprises, our cameraman here today, Christian Hill. He's Chuck Lejsek. I'm Erik Pessolano saying so long once again from the rinks at Anaheim Ice. We hope you enjoyed our show. You've been watching the Anaheim Ducks High School Hockey League Monthly Digest right here on Black Dog Enterprises.